that going, Eric?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So anyone's way. Yeah.
Marcelle Bakula was born and raised in Los Angeles, but after receiving her teaching credential in 1980, she got a job teaching 4th grade here in beautiful Cambria at the grammar school. A few years later, when her oldest son Alex was ready for preschool, she got involved in fundraising for the New Dawn Montessori School. How many remember the New Dawn Montessori School? Yeah. As part of the fundraising project that Marcelle set up, they established the first the Central Coast Children's Fair that was held right here in the parking lot of the lodge. And it was a big fundraiser, and it was a big success. They invited all the county agencies that had something to do with children to come and participate so that parents could get good information. Anyway, Marcelle did that. Another fundraiser for the New Dawn Montessori School, led by Marcelle, was the garden tour, which I didn't know there was a garden tour. I knew there was a kitchen tour here, but there is a garden tour, and Marcelle was part of starting that with the Montessori School. 20 years ago, she helped organize Cambria's original skate park. I was talking to Joe a while ago, and he remembers that the temporary skate park that was set up in the parking lot of the Vets building. And Marcelle organized some of the local contractors to come and participate, and it was taken down and then put back up, and taken down and put back up as kids needed it, until CCSD donated the land across the street where you see the skate park now. Sorry, I popped my pea there. People in radio know better than to pop peas. But I just did, so I'm sorry.
Glad you explained that.
In fact, a grant from the Tony Hawk Foundation that Marcelle got helped oversee the building of the skate park as it exists now. And in the late 1980s, Marcelle helped to bring people together along with many others, including Diane Brooke, better known as Lady Tie-Dye, to develop the community center where the teen center is now located in the West Village. And by the time her oldest son Alex was at Coast Union, Marcelle got heavily involved in the Bronco Boosters and was awarded Booster of the Year at one point. I don't know what year. What year was that, honey? You remember?
2003 or 4.
Booster of the Year. That means something here in Cambria. And for the last 12 years, Marcelle has been the principal organizer of the Jean Cerise Country Classic Bike Ride. And I see some bike riders and helpers here, Art and Jim and Tom. And here's the good news about that. They get about 200 riders from all over the state every year in June. And it averages earning $18,000 to $20,000 a year for the teen center. Now, quickly do the math. 12 years times that kind of money, we're talking $220,000 have been raised for the teen center thanks to the work that Marcelle has put in. And I'm part of it too. It's a lot of work. And we got some volunteers here who are there every year. Marcelle's very active with the Pacific Wildlife Care Group in Morro Bay, and she has served as membership chair since 2008 and been the main organizer for a fundraiser they have called Windows into Wildlife. And she does silent auctions, and the net from Windows into Wildlife is about $20,000 a year. And speaking of wildlife, I have witnessed dozens of times when Marcelle left her own business. By the way, her home business is selling reusable cotton shopping bags, wholesale to grocery stores. I think she has 170 Whole Food stores around the country that she sells reusable cotton shopping bags. And now that plastic is being banned, it's a very fortuitous time to be selling bags. But anyway, I see her get up and go out and rescue injured pelicans, possums, seagulls, and here's something that you will find interesting. She has raised dozens of orphaned possums in our guest bedroom. The mother will get hit by a car, and the babies in the pouch are still alive. So she takes them. I've seen her hourly feeding 6 tiny little possums with a syringe. But the funny part too is some people who are friends of ours who come to visit, we can tell them, oh, I'm sorry, our guest bedroom isn't available. We have possums that are being raised there. Marcelle helped students at Leffingwell High School a few years ago earn credits and she found part-time jobs for them. It was a program called School to Work. And Norm's wife remembers, your wife was, there she is.
Jenny.
You were
I was the mother hen.
You were the mother hen at Leffingwell, and you worked with Marcelle, and she found jobs for kids.
She was a tough employer.
Okay, that's, thank you. For 11 years, and speaking of Norm, Marcelle was chief coordinator for a fundraising golf tournament called Birdies and Bogies Golf Tournament. It was a Lions project, but it raised money for the Teen Center. And I was in on that. I helped with that a little bit too. Norm, in his nomination of Marcelle, called her work stunning. Meantime, the purchase of the Fiscalini Ranch Preserve was another of the fundraising events Marcelle was part of, with a lot of other people. And she certainly wasn't alone in that, but she continues to chip in her talents every summer for the Great Kitchens of Cambria Kitchen Tour. I got to work on that last year, and I was lucky enough to be in a kitchen where we were serving beer. I didn't have any, of course, but it was only a small plastic glass that they got, but it was
805.
Yeah, the beer was 805, but what were we serving? It was something real spicy.
Shrimp gumbo.
Shrimp gumbo. So naturally, you have a bowl of really steamy, hot shrimp gumbo when you go on a little glass of beer. Anyway, the kitchen tour raises a lot of money, and Marcelle's been involved in that for years, and she has served many years as a docent and a fundraising volunteer for the Cambria Historical Society. And she is very proud to have been part of the group that took that dilapidated, old, falling down building and turned it into a wonderful, shining museum for Cambria that everybody is really proud of. And I remember seeing that building and thinking, how are they ever going to make that nice? And it's amazing, and Marcelle's proud. She works in the bookstore, and she's a docent down there. And when it comes to the conservation of the pastoral beauty of the Cambria area, Marcelle's stewardship has been very consistent. And the letter that we got from Green Space said that for 24 straight years, she's been involved with the annual Green Space Art Auction fundraiser. And there are more things that I could mention. One of them, when I do the broadcast for the Bronco football games, Marcelle volunteers to keep statistics for us. And that's a big help. When you're writing up the story, you know how many yards the quarterback threw for. And so I appreciate that, Marcelle. And there's more things, but it's time now to welcome a Cambria woman who's made a significant contribution to this community for more than 24 years. A nice hand for Marcelle Bakula.